interesting. Lengua, tongue, tripe. A face. So good. Thank you. Hey everyone, so back in December 2024, I went on a trip to Mexico with my boyfriend. I've been sitting on this vlog for a little while now. I've just been really busy last couple of weeks building out my website and business, which I've been working on over the past year. So it's been really exciting to get it going. I've always been really passionate about connecting with people and supporting others. So I've officially now launched my website as a coach. And you can check out the website link down below if you want. Anyways, back to November, we spent 6 nights in Puerto Vallarta, which is a popular tourist destination in the state of Jalisco for both locals and internationals. It was my first time here and I really loved it. It was sunny, the streets were filled with gorgeous colors, and I love the food, but definitely a lot more on that in a bit. So the latter half of the trip, we spent 4 nights in Yelapa. Yelapa is a small village. It's situated in a cove, and you can only access it by boat, so water taxi, and it's about 45 minutes to an hour away from Puerto Vallarta. It's honestly a really scenic ride. You go along the coastline, and we also saw dolphins on both the way there and back, which was super awesome. And since there's no roads to Yelapa, the vibe I would say is that it's very secluded, it's surrounded by lush tropical jungle, and has a bit of that untouched paradise feel. I would say it's a little bit dirty, so there's quite a bit of poop on the roads from the donkeys, so just be careful where you step your feet. And I'd say it's ideal for nature lovers, couples, or people who just want to take it slow and get away from the hustle and bustle. So for our time in Puerto Vallarta, we stayed in Zona Romantica, also known as the Romantic Zone. It's one of the more popular places to stay, and we got a room right by the beach with an ocean view where we enjoyed the sunset from our balcony. And if you come here, I highly recommend you get an ocean view room. It's not too expensive either, and you can hear the ocean waves as you sleep at night, which is really a nice plus. It's really charming area. There's cobblestone streets, a lot of great Mexican architecture, really colorful plants, and lots of shops and cafes and restaurants for you to browse around. There's also a lot of local artists here. You can see street performers, especially at nighttime, and there's also a lot of local art installations like the mosaic we saw in this park, which is beautiful. So we spent a lot of time just walking around and eating, for example, at the food trucks. One of the days we took a pretty sweaty but worthwhile hike up to the Mirador de la Cruz, which means viewpoint of the cross in English. It's a great spot, but it's a pretty steep hike. I'd say from the beach maybe 40 minutes to the top, and there's hundreds of steps to get up. It was tiring, but it was nice to see the architecture along the way, and it was a good workout. It's a hilltop view that gives panoramic city, coastline, and mountain view, so I would highly recommend it. I did go in the middle of the day, so it was really hot, but plus side was really quiet, and we got some nice time there. Another highlight of the trip was that we happened to be there during the Feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe. We didn't know about this when we booked the trip, but it happens every year from December 1st to 12th. This festival honors the Virgin Mary, and it's marked by vibrant parades, religious processions, and a lot of festivities, especially around the church and the Malecon. And the atmosphere really came alive at nighttime. We saw fireworks, and the square was bustling with street food vendors. Overall, I had a great time in Puerto Vallarta. I'd rate it 9 out of 10, and I would highly recommend coming back here if you're looking for an affordable escape to a fun holiday by the beach. Next up was the Yelapa. Again, the water taxi was super fun. I didn't get seasick, which I was worried about. It was just super windy. But we got an Airbnb this time, and again, we prioritized the view. We had private access to this beach, and it was beautiful. We were surrounded by the sand and the ocean and the jungle. Basically, everywhere you look, you were surrounded by just picture-perfect tropical paradise. And we saw lots of wildlife as well, so as we were eating our breakfast, these birds were also feeding.
Oh, I got it! Yeah.
In Yelapa, there was also an abundance of tropical flowers. I particularly loved these orange flowers. I've never seen anything like this before hanging upside down. I don't know what they're called, but I loved it. I also loved getting my fresh juice in the morning. My green juice had cactus in it. And of course, in Yelapa, we spent a lot of time by the beach. This is Playa Isabel. The sand here was really glittering gold in the sun, and I was trying to capture it, but it might not be visible here. It's a secluded beach and a hidden gem, I would say, about 20 minutes walk from the pier. I think it's good for people who want to have just a bit more privacy. And along the way, we saw this iguana just basking on the rocks on our little hike there, so that was nice. Another thing in Yelapa was that there's just a lot of dogs and puppies just roaming around. The ones we came across all seemed really friendly. They're part of the village's charm, and they often accompany you as you're resting or even maybe on part of your hike. We had one that walked all across the beach with us, which was really sweet. They roam around freely on the cobblestone streets and probably just want some pets or maybe some snacks. I will say that they do add to the poop on the streets though. So one of the highlights we had was the day trip out to a waterfall hike. There are two, one that's really close to town, roughly 15 minutes walk from the center, and then another one that's around 4 to 5 kilometers. It's a bit more challenging, but I think it's worth it. It's super scenic, and I've never seen so many butterflies all at once in my life. And on this path to the waterfall, you also cross 2 rivers as well, which makes it a more fun and interesting view. The water is super refreshing and super cool, so it's nice to dip your feet in. And we saw lots of little fishes as well. And when we were crossing the second river stream, we actually saw some macaw parrots, which are native to this area of Jalisco. They were super beautiful with their colors, and yeah, we were really lucky to catch some. So the waterfall can be a bit tricky to find because it's not well marked. You actually have to cross through this little gate, which only has a sign about no recycling, I think, and we only know to cross here because someone told us. So thank you to that kind person for the tip. The falls was gorgeous. It was really nice to have a dip after that sweaty hike, and it's surrounded by the greenery and the rock formations. The day we went was pretty empty. Only one other family was there, and then later on a couple showed up, and it was just a really nice relaxing day out. We enjoyed our swim and then also just laid out on the rocks for a bit of sunbathing as well. The second highlight for me was the beach in Yelapa. It was just a great example of how nature is always in motion. During the day, the beach often looks like an expanse of golden sand, but overnight rainfall upstream or high tides often cause the river to break through the sandbar and split the beach into 2 sections. We almost got trapped one night on the other side of the beach when the river, but luckily we crossed before it got too steep. What was really fun was that one day when the river broke through the sandbar, it created this fun natural water slide. The water rushed out in a strong current and made this fast-moving channel, and some kids took it downstream, kind of like nature's version of a water park. So for a brief time, I also hopped in, and there you can see me getting scraped by the sand. That part wasn't that fun, but I loved it regardless. And there you see my boyfriend going, and for some reason he's going like really far out all the way to the end. Anyways, it was a great experience, and I love seeing how often the beach was reshaped by the tides and the river. All in all, I really loved Yelapa. It's a quaint, small town. It's very relaxing and peaceful, also really vibrant and colorful, and just really fun to explore around the nooks and crannies of the village. I'd definitely come back here. I'd give it 9.5 out of 10, minus half a point for just all the poop on the street. Next up, Food, probably one of my favorite things to talk about. I'm a true foodie at heart, and I love discovering new places to eat. I'm not even sure where to begin. I honestly feel like I haven't ever had real Mexican food up until now. The flavors and the salsas were just incredible. I thought I might get tired of eating Mexican food 12 days in a row, but I think a combination of flavors and sauces gave so much variety that I never actually got bored. So taco wise, one of my highlights was this tripe taco. Is probably one of the first tacos we had at the street food, at this food truck. I never had tripe in my taco before, and it was honestly really flavorful and tasty. We also tried several other flavors, but the tripe was the winner here. Also, I highly recommend getting grilled onions to go with your tacos. Super delicious. Speaking of tacos, of course, we tried Pancho's Tacos. It's famous for its tacos al pastor, which is marinated pork with apples. We had to wait in line, but maybe only 15 minutes or so since it's just for the two of us. And while you're in line, you can jot your order down, and also they give you your drink while you're waiting, which is really nice. I wasn't sure if it was going to live up to its hype, but it did. I don't know if it's the atmosphere since the place is super alive and busy, and I also had the best view watching them cook the pastor, or if it's just their ginormous portions. Whatever it was, the food was super tasty. I had a great time, and I would definitely go back for their pastors. Another fun place we ate at was La Tres Aztecas. It's a cute family-owned place. It reminds me of a family kitchen, and we got the huevos rancheros and chilaquiles for breakfast. I didn't know that tortillas were so tasty as breakfast items, but it was, and it was very homey. One more restaurant I really enjoyed was called Restaurant Adobes. They have a lunch special, which is fixed price, really affordable, and we had a drink, soup, and a main course. The main course is chilies and nogada, which is a stuffed poblano with meat and spices, topped with this walnut cream sauce and garnished with pomegranate seeds, and it was so delicious. I really, really enjoyed it, and I'm glad I came here. Now, for my favorite restaurant this entire trip, it would have been Los Abuelos in Yelapa. It's known for its fresh salads and Mexican dishes. The highlights were their salsas. I highly recommend also getting their margaritas with raicilla. And the winner for me was their Diabla shrimp. It's a shrimp cooked in the spicy, tangy, smoky red sauce. It was so good in the taco that I immediately got a quesadilla version after. Now for the street food, we tried several things. Some I liked less. I definitely enjoy eating this massive burrito stuffed to the brim with octopus and shrimp, and I can't believe he used all of that seafood in just one burrito. Dessert-wise, I had this elote pie from the market. It's essentially cornbread or corn pie. It was sweet and the corn flavor really came through, and I really enjoyed the taste. But my favorite dessert of all time was probably these churros I had from the street vendor. It was super cheap, I think around 3 pesos for one stick. Not too sweet, and it was super crispy and fresh and hot. Again, the texture was super crunchy, and it was just delightful. I have to say, one thing I'm not sure about is a snack I had called Toasty Locos. It's a popular street snack where you mix a bag of Tostito chips with a bunch of things like cucumber, peanuts, lime juice, chili powder, and also gummies. I think that part threw me off a bit. We thought these big red, like kidney bean shaped things were kidney beans, but it turned out they were gummies, which wasn't necessarily bad, but it was just a bit strange to have it with all the savory things. Last but not least, after stuffing ourselves full of food, we also found a chocolate con chili magnum bar, so I had to get it and try it. Honestly, it was a lot spicier than I expected, and it hits you not immediately but after. It was really tasty though, but just pretty spicy. All in all, I had a great time eating in Mexico, 10 out of 10. Last but not least, I wanted to talk a bit about traveling together. It was our first big trip together as a couple. I wasn't sure how we would navigate it. They say that sometimes traveling makes or breaks a relationship, and I knew we probably would be tested on this trip since the nature of traveling just brings up a lot of new things, unexpected situations, and you're going to be thrown out of your comfort zone because you're not in your regular routine. I had to say things definitely went wrong from the get-go. For example, I literally pulled out the door handle as we were leaving for the airport. And also on the first night of our hotel, we had bed bugs. So yeah, definitely a bit rocky. Honestly, that painting in the room foreshadowed it. But overall, I think we were able to work well together as a team. When things didn't go our way or things got a little uncomfortable, we were able to communicate with each other and also give each other space if we needed it. So yeah, some rough bits, but overall, we really enjoyed each other's company. And I have to say that after 12 days together, we still really enjoyed each other's presence. So that was a really nice sign, I think. Overall, it was a huge success as a first trip. We had challenges, but we also grew closer. And I would definitely come back to Mexico. I can't wait to eat all the food again, and I hope I get to visit again soon. Let me know what your favorite part of this video was. Thanks for watching.